All right, so let's dive into something
hmm
pretty crucial, I think, for anyone kind of leading the charge on keeping those critical systems up and running. We're talking cyber resilience. And not just the theory here. We've got sources on StarTrainer, a company that's operating right in the thick of it in Ukraine.
Yeah, and that location right away, I think, tells us something really valuable. They're not just working from best practices documents. These guys are dealing with the reality of hybrid warfare every single day.
Exactly. They've had to adapt
Yeah.
and innovate just to stay ahead of those constantly evolving cyber and physical threats. This isn't some theoretical exercise for them. It's about keeping essential services functioning in a very high-pressure environment.
Yeah, which is why their approach to resilience really stands out to me. Most organizations I see are focused on compliance, ticking boxes. But StarTrainer really emphasizes building that genuine resilience into the core of their operations. It's a perspective that's been forged in the fire of real-world experience, and that's incredibly valuable for anyone in cybersecurity, business continuity, or IT management, really.
And they're laser focused on a region that's facing some of the most sophisticated cyber attacks out there, Eastern Europe. They understand the unique challenges that organizations in Romania, Bulgaria, and Ukraine are facing, from geopolitical instability to those very targeted attacks.
Yeah, and that regional expertise is key. It's not just about knowing generic best practices, it's about understanding how those practices function in the specific context of Eastern Europe, with its unique regulations and operational realities.
So they've got this deep understanding of the threats and that regional context. But what I found fascinating was how they've translated that into two distinct pathways for building cyber resilience. One blends those U.S.-originated Disaster Recovery Institute practices with a NIST cybersecurity framework. It's a structured approach that a lot of global organizations recognize.
And it's not just theoretical. The sources highlight a Romanian financial institution that was constantly being targeted by advanced persistent threats. By implementing this combined framework, they significantly reduced their incident response times. That kind of real-world success story really demonstrates the value of a tailored approach.
For sure. Proven results matter, especially when stakeholders are looking for reassurance. And then there's their second pathway, which focuses on integrating ISO 22301 compliant BCMS with the ISO 27001 ISMS. Instead of treating these as separate entities, they're weaving together business continuity management and information security management.
This integrated approach is particularly interesting, I think, for organizations that are striving to achieve those specific ISO certifications. And it's not just about compliance either. There's a case study mentioned, a Bulgarian energy provider that achieved both certifications. This not only strengthened their resilience against both cyber and physical threats, but also ensured they met those critical regulatory requirements.
It seems like they're really emphasizing that holistic view, recognizing that cybersecurity and business continuity can't be treated as separate silos. But here's where things get even more interesting. They don't just consult, they actually empower teams to become certified experts themselves. They've partnered with both DRI and PECB, which allows them to offer a range of certified training programs.
And those certifications are no joke. We're talking about ISO 23301, ISO 2701 CBCP, CBCLA, CCRP. These are highly sought-after credentials that demonstrate real expertise in the field. This means they're not just giving organizations the knowledge, they're equipping them with the tools and skills to implement and audit resilience frameworks effectively.
So it's not just about bringing in outside help, it's about building internal capacity for that long-term resilience. And in the source materials, it's a pretty strong call to action towards the end, urging organizations, especially those in Romania, Bulgaria, and Ukraine, to be proactive. The message seems clear. The sophistication of attacks is only increasing, and waiting until it's too late is a dangerous game.
And it's a call to action backed by experience. StarTrainer has weathered those storms, and they're sharing their insights to help others prepare. This kind of hands-on experience, combined with internationally recognized best practices, makes them a valuable partner in navigating this complex threat landscape.
Absolutely. And what I appreciate is their commitment to empowering local businesses. Irina Luchenko, the owner of StarTrainer, is incredibly open to questions and discussions. In fact, she encourages anyone interested to connect with her on LinkedIn or reach out via email at train@startrainer.bg.
That personal touch is a real differentiator. It speaks to their dedication to building relationships and sharing their expertise to create a more resilient future.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see a company so focused on that knowledge transfer
Yeah.
and building that local expertise. Because let's be honest, frameworks and certifications are only part of the story, right?
Absolutely. You can have the most robust systems in place.
Right.
But without a skilled and well-trained team to implement and manage them, it's all for naught. Exactly. That's where StarTrainer's emphasis on that certified training really shines. They're not just handing organizations a manual and saying good luck. They're equipping individuals with the knowledge and practical skills to become those true resilience champions.
It's like they're building a human firewall alongside the technological one, recognizing that people are often the first line of defense. And let's face it, in a high-pressure situation, it's your team's training and expertise that can make all the difference.
That's a great point. And when you look at the certifications they offer, it's clear they're targeting those on the front lines. SOC team leaders, heads of InfoSec, business continuity managers, IT unit leads, the people who need to make those critical decisions under pressure.
Speaking of pressure, the sources emphasize that the cyber threat landscape is only getting more complex, especially in Eastern Europe. So how does StarTrainer's approach equip organizations to not just survive, but actually thrive in this kind of environment?
Well, for starters, they're not just focused on reacting to threats. They're all about building that proactive resilience. Their training programs go beyond the basics, delving into the practical application of frameworks like ISO 23001 and ISO 27001 in a real-world context.
So it's not just about checking boxes for compliance. It's about understanding how to adapt these frameworks to their specific needs and challenges. And that kind of adaptability is crucial when you're dealing with constantly evolving threats.
Precisely. They're teaching people how to think critically, how to analyze risks, and how to develop and implement effective resilience strategies. They're empowering individuals to become problem solvers, not just rule followers.
And I imagine that kind of mindset shift is incredibly valuable, especially in a region where organizations are facing threats that are often outside the norm.
Absolutely. Think about the situation in Ukraine, where cyber attacks are often intertwined with physical disruptions and misinformation campaigns. Traditional approaches to cybersecurity simply aren't enough. You need a more holistic and adaptive mindset.
So it sounds like StarTrainer is really addressing a critical need, especially for organizations operating in those high-risk environments. They're providing not just knowledge, but a way of thinking, a resilience mindset that can help organizations navigate this increasingly complex world.
And they're doing it in a way that's accessible and tailored to the specific needs of the region. They understand the challenges, the regulations, the operational realities. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, and that's what makes them stand out.
For sure. And speaking of standing out, they've got a pretty impressive lineup of certified training programs. Let's break down some of those certifications and why they matter, especially for those in leadership roles within critical infrastructure.
Sure. Starting with ISO 22301, which focuses on business continuity management. This certification is all about establishing a framework for identifying potential disruptions, developing response plans, and ensuring business continuity, even in the face of major incidents.
So for someone like a business continuity manager, this is pretty much essential, right? It gives them the tools and the knowledge to create and maintain a robust business continuity program.
Exactly. And then there's ISO 2701, which is focused on information security management. This one is all about establishing a framework for managing and protecting sensitive information, ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
This is where those InfoSec leaders and IT unit heads would really benefit, right? It's about creating a secure environment and minimizing the risk of data breaches.
Precisely. And beyond those ISO standards, they offer certifications like CBCP, CBCLA, and CCRP, which delve into more specialized areas of business continuity and disaster recovery planning. These are globally recognized credentials that demonstrate a high level of expertise.
And having a team with these certifications not only boosts their credibility, but it also sends a clear message to stakeholders. This organization takes resilience seriously?
Absolutely. It's a sign of commitment, of investing in the people and the processes necessary to maintain operations, even in the most challenging circumstances.
And that commitment seems to extend beyond just providing training. I mean, Irina Lubchenko, the owner of StarTrainer, actively encourages people to reach out to her directly.
Right. She's made her LinkedIn profile and email address available, encouraging open dialogue and sharing her expertise.
It speaks volumes about their approach. It's not just about selling a service. It's about fostering a community, about sharing knowledge and building resilience together, which I think is a pretty powerful message.
It really is. They seem to get that true resilience goes beyond, just having the right certifications or implementing the latest technology. It's about building a culture of preparedness, a mindset that kind of permeates the entire organization.
And that's a point that really resonated with me. We can talk all day about frameworks and best practices, but if those aren't embedded in the organization's culture, if people don't understand the why behind them, it's all going to fall apart when the pressure hits.
Absolutely. Resilience needs to be more than just a box-ticking exercise. It needs to be woven into the fabric of how an organization operates, how decisions are made, how teams respond to challenges.
And I think StarTrainer's approach, particularly their focus on training and empowering individuals, speaks directly to that they're not just providing knowledge, they're cultivating a resilience mindset.
And that's especially critical in a region like Eastern Europe, where the threats are often unpredictable and multifaceted. You need teams that can think critically, adapt quickly, and make sound decisions under pressure. You need a culture that embraces proactive preparedness, not just reactive responses.
So for those listening in who are responsible for critical infrastructure, whether that's in cybersecurity, business continuity, or IT management, what are some key takeaways they can apply even if they're not working directly with StarTrainer?
That's a great question, first and foremost. I think it's vital to recognize that resilience is an ongoing journey, not a destination. The threat landscape is constantly evolving, so your approach to resilience needs to evolve with it.
It's not a set it and forget it kind of deal.
Yeah.
You need to be constantly assessing risks, adapting strategies, and training your teams.
Exactly, and that training shouldn't just be about technical skills. It needs to encompass critical thinking, problem solving, and decision-making under pressure. It's about building that resilience mindset we talked about.
And don't underestimate the power of collaboration and knowledge sharing, whether it's connecting with experts like Irina Lipchenko or fostering a culture of open communication within your own organization. Sharing insights and best practices can go a long way in building collective resilience.
Absolutely. We're all in this together, and learning from each other's experiences is invaluable.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into StarTrainer's approach to resilience, I think the key takeaway is this. Resilience is not just about surviving. It's about thriving in the face of challenges. It's about building organizations that are agile, adaptable, and prepared for whatever comes their way.
And it's about empowering individuals to be the driving force behind that resilience, because at the end of the day, it's the people on the ground, those making decisions in the heat of the moment, who will determine an organization's ability to withstand the storms and emerge stronger on the other side.
So for all of you out there on the front lines of cyber resilience, remember that you're not alone. There are resources, experts, and communities ready to support you. And as Irina Lipchenko reminds us, don't hesitate to reach out, ask questions, and engage in the conversation. Because the more we share, the more resilient we all become.